is Bob Andelman, and you're listening to and hopefully watching the Mr. Media radio interview with Dan Zarella and Allison Zarella, the married co-authors of the Facebook Marketing Book. I was kind of curious to ask both of you how you incorporate Facebook marketing in your day jobs.
So at HubSpot, we do a bunch with Facebook. We have a Facebook group, or a page, rather, excuse me, group. Oh man, that's a huge faux pas. So we have a Facebook page. It's got a whole bunch of fans that we regularly update, and that's kind of rolled in essentially. It's like a spoke in our social media marketing plan when we're launching new blog posts, new content, whatever it goes onto the page. We also do some questions and things like that. We've also played with Facebook ads. If you read the book, I think you kind of get the impression that while I think Facebook ads can be useful for certain things in certain situations, I don't think it's the best place to start. And so we have some Facebook ads. Beyond that, yeah, that's the Facebook marketing book there. Beyond that, I don't think we're doing anything super innovative. But I think this is one of the things with the keys with Facebook is that you don't need to necessarily break the mold. You just kind of need to be there and engage with the audiences there.
Um, all right, all right. So we've talked in kind of general terms to this point. What's the first step in setting up a marketing presence on Facebook? And I'm guessing, because I actually have read the book, it's not entirely guessing, but it's an individual profile followed then by a Facebook page. Is that about right?
Yep. Facebook has some weird back entry way that you can set up a page without a profile, but I wouldn't recommend trying to find it. It's a pain. And it's important that you have a profile before you set up a page because you really want to know what a profile looks like, how it works, so that when you're working on your page marketing, you understand from a user perspective how they'll interact through that profile. But definitely you want to go with a page, not a group, as Dan misspoke earlier.
Do you think Facebook will ever let companies jump straight to pages without requiring some individual in the organization to set up a profile? I mean, maybe they need like the business equivalent of Twitter, of a Twitter verified account, something like that.
Yeah, I think they will. About a month ago, they mistakenly rolled out some new page features that they very quickly broke the entire site in order to take back, which allowed you to, as a profile and as a regular person, as a user, to log into different page accounts as either the page admin, so as HubSpot, or as a person, as Dan. And right now, if you are the admin of a page, you can only talk as that brand. You don't have that personal interaction. So I think what they're moving forward to is the option to talk as the brand or the person, which would sort of bypass that step of a profile. Right now, on a page, you can't actually talk to somebody privately the way you can as a person or a profile through like an private message, sort of like Facebook's email. And that's another thing that I think they're going to roll out to marketers who admin a page because it's important, especially if you're resolving customer service issues. You don't always want to do everything on the open Facebook wall. You need to take that offline and get their private
I
information.
think that'd be a great step. I know just as low level as I operate Mr. Media as a business, I've got my individual page, which was the stepping stone, especially once I hit 5,000 friends, hi friends, people I don't know, and jump to the Facebook page for Mr. Media. I personally, I mean, I would love to be able to separate the two because I'd like to just interact with people from Mr. Media on the Mr. Media page and go back to having my own personal account. I know it drives my family crazy that I've got 5,000 friends that they're part of, and the only other thing is the Mr. Media page, and the two should be separate. There shouldn't I shouldn't have to they shouldn't have to interact. And yeah, I mean, being able to message your customers directly, it seems kind of obvious. Maybe they just haven't figured out the technical end of that. But
I think they're afraid that marketers will spam their customers or something. They're waiting for a level of trust. And so I think with time that might be something that Facebook does roll out once they have a better understanding and I guess expectation that all of the brands and companies that are on Facebook are using it appropriately. So their terms of service will likely change to go along with this new.
I've set up a profile and I've jumped to having a Facebook page. What can I do with it? I mean, it kind of to look at it, it just the page. It looks like I don't know what can I do with it special to make it stand out.
Um, yeah, it's not that much to look at right away. you really want to customize it and take advantage of the much smaller than MySpace options that Facebook lets you have. You've got a page icon, which can be whatever size you want. Preferable, you want to do the 200 by 200, which will crop perfectly to your little thumbnail, which shows up in newsfeed. Or you can go for the longer one, which is 600 long by 200 across pixels. And that will give you more real estate to play with when people actually look at your page. You want to fill out your info and fill out everything. If there's a space for it and it makes sense for your brand, you really want to fill it out and take the time. That's really what sets apart the successful small or large businesses from the sort of fly-by-night, good for a week and then gone pages, is taking the time to set it up correctly, check for grammar and punctuation, and really explain why your page is there and what people should do with it. You're going to get an SEO benefit out of that. So you're going to be showing up in Google, Bing search results when you explain all the products and services you have, your mission statement, those kind of things. People might not actually look at them, but it will help them find you through either Facebook or Google search traffic.
You talk in the book about FBML, the Facebook markup language, and I saw that and I go, oh good, you're going to explain to me how to do that. Now, you don't go into that in the book. I know that's rather complicated, but that's kind of my question: is why, that's one of those things that does sort of separate the small business from the big business. The small business probably doesn't have anyone on staff that has the vaguest idea what FBML is. The big business can afford to hire someone to do that. I said earlier that the big equalizer in the internet is that your front page on the web is the same size as Walmart's, but by having this type of markup language, it does separate the big from the small in some ways.
Yeah, when you get into customization, that is where brands start to really show the difference between a large budget and dedicated, person or a whole staff for Facebook. But there are a lot of things that you can teach yourself or get done pretty cheaply and easily if you are willing to read a book or a whole bunch of websites and find out about it, or find a small consultant who can help you create a basic tab. FBML is Facebook markup language. It's very similar to HTML. If you have the smallest coding ability, you will be able to do a basic one that's got an image, some text, a few clickable links, maybe even a form. I don't know how to code or program anything. If you ask me to make something work, I wouldn't be able to do it, but I can do basic FBML tabs that will look nice, that especially if you're a smaller local business, will be exactly what you want, just to give your page that one custom graphic that will be way better than your competitors. It's not going to be the cool interactive functionality that Walmart could pull off.
Hey, did you know that you can listen to the latest Mr. Media on your phone with the Stitcher app? Stitcher is smart radio for your smartphone. Mr. Media is on demand and on the go with Stitcher. Download Stitcher for your phone today. Get the free download at Stitcher.com. That's STITCHER.com.